Okay, good morning. I'm going to read from Mark chapter 9, verses 1 through 29 out of the New Living Translation Bible. I'll give the congregation a moment. If you want, get something to drink, quick bite to eat, get your favorite Bible translation, and get back here and we'll do some reading together. So, look, don't let the devil or secret doctrine or anybody, mostly the devil, because the devil will put thoughts in your head like, I'm not good enough, or whatever I've done. Hey, if you want to give up and go to hell, fine, but I don't. So, hey, the best thing you can do, even if you sin, is get your tail back in here. This is the only hope. What's the alternative? To stew in grief or shame and then let the devil just win? No, fight the good fight of faith and keep trying, because this is the only hope. It's the devil that wants to convince us that and maybe the whole world is against us, or maybe the whole world is against you. It feels like it to me. I'm not saying they're out to get me, because that's too clinical. You don't want to say that. Don't start saying that to people. But the whole world could maybe not care. You don't have any family left. That your mom's checked out 5 years ago and she's just bizarre on pain medication. Her ex-husband has come just out of nowhere, said he was going to help you with school and just pretends you don't even exist. And then when you call him, mocks you and giggles and schnoots at you while his boyfriend across the street kisses your daughter, or who knows, or he says, I'm going fishing, and he just doesn't care anymore because he knows Madeline's over 18 and there's nothing they could do anyways. Even she wouldn't say anything anyways, right? And so people just stopped caring. The only reason he did anything was why? Yeah, you figured it out. Mom has no control. He lied. Mom, who knows, even mom. People get on drugs, pain medication, that's heavy duty narcotics. Mom hits her head. Avis doesn't know about it. Supposedly, mom has a dream that somebody came to her house. It just gets more and more bizarre. Avis is 71. I can't believe it. Like, my parents could be gone today. All of them. I don't have John. Avis is in. I want nothing to do with Bobby or Melissa. They're absolute drug addicts. They don't sleep. They're dangerous. They go in and out of prison. They're multi-felons. I don't want anything to do with anything they ever, unless they've been sober for a couple of years off that stuff and they slept for a couple of years. Then maybe I'd talk to them. Otherwise, they are absolute risk, liability, and outright dangerous. Remember, father against son, mother. I don't trust them. I'm not a felon, and I don't harass people continually when they ask me to stop. I didn't do anything at Home Depot. I didn't do anything to anybody my whole life. I told you about those girls we drove off on. One or two other things in my whole life that I And if they say anything, they're all lying. Like they've been after me the whole time. Because they're jealous, I guess. Decent looking guy, athletic. I always, had nice clothes. But at the end of the day, this is about where I'm going to spend eternity, where you will spend eternity, and you're don't let the devil. No matter how bad, at least you're not. It can always be worse. So even if nobody wants to talk to you, nobody likes you, Jesus still died for everybody that will accept him, and that makes sense, don't it? In a world where you might not have nothing, the God of the universe, he didn't say go with them chain smoking rabbis and go down and get the SWAT team there. He said, no, go straight to Jesus. Go to God through Jesus and say, it doesn't matter if I die today or I don't got nothing. No matter what happens today, as horrible as I feel, I got nobody. They keep lying and they've been making stuff up about me all my life. And enough, they just got enough with enough stuff I did, and nobody cares anymore. Parents are almost dead. But Jesus still died for me, and I get to spend eternity in the event that it's true, and I believe it is. I'm sure it's down there somewhere. It's hell. Hey, why? I'm not giving up on Jesus, no matter what secret doctrine or these devils say, because they don't like me already. I certainly don't want to spend eternity with them. I keep asking Jesus to help me, and I'm sorry for my sin, Lord. So you got New Testament, the collection for Christians in Jerusalem. I don't know what it is, but here, honey, over here. You want to keep it G-rated, right? But I don't know what it is, but man, the temptation. I guess, like I said, it's just a combination of uh, the reality that you may never have a wife, or and then people can pass away too, right? Just because you get married doesn't. So you have to be prepared. So in other words, you have to be sufficient, okay with yourself and living, because just you could lose your spouse. But I don't know what it is. Recently, the last year, I don't know. It must just get tougher. The flesh must get tougher as you get older, I guess. I don't know. The thought of being alone. And, you know, I'm a pretty unique individual if you haven't figured that out. And it would take a pretty, for me to be able to, not that I'm anything special, but me, your only children, we like things the way we like them. That's why we have a few friends that are really close, but not a super lot because we get irritated pretty quick and we're fussy and people don't like that. And we're fine. Most of the time, 99.9%, we don't need anybody. We learn to play alone and get entertain ourselves. So yeah, I mean, it would take a really, really unique. It would have to be from God. If there's a gal out there that I could put up with and could put up with me, so mhm. Man, I'm getting ugly, huh? Gosh, I'm getting old. I used to be a halfway decent looking guy, man. Even had Ackerman. Remember Ackerman, right? Oh, Brandon really liked Paula Pearson. Huh? Oh, I was walking did I tell you all that? Oh, I was on her. If she wouldn't have died of cancer, I probably would have married her. I had her before all y'all. Her sister liked me too. She was a oh yeah. I was walking to school with her before any of y'all you were even a thought in her head. That's right. Like the first day of seventh grade, I'm walking by Ackerman's and she's walking to school and I'm like, "Hey, Paula! Oh, Paula Pearson!" Brandon liked her, and then she got sick and withdrew from everybody. Oh yeah, I was friends with her before any of y'all. Oh yeah. I'd stop by at her house every morning and be like, "Come on, Polly. Come on, little Pearson girl. Let's go to school, honey. I'll walk you to school, sweetie." Yep. I got these big bright red shoes that your sister likes. Remember that? And her sister's fine as heck too, and all the ninth grade girls. Yeah, I was already getting down with Paula Pearson before any of y'all. So, yeah. And you're like, it's just tricky, man. It's just tricky. Anyways, I'm gonna read from chapter 9. But don't get discouraged because I'm discouraged. I mean, with all that's going on, I feel like I'm in the fight of my life. And then I'm still in this evil carcass we call flesh. It's a struggle, man. It's a battle. But don't give up because the alternative, according to this here, if you get mad at God, that's even if you make a mistake or you maybe you have a bad thought, man, get to talking to God and say, "I'm sorry," because time is short. You don't know. The homies could come pull your card like they did the Tushna, or you never know. Or the polar bear could come pull your card, or 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 Bob Walters used to he could have come pull your card, or God could just put the snuffer on top of your candle, put your candle light out. You never know. So the flesh is always apparently, I don't know what's going on, but it's tough sometimes. And you say, "Wow, Jesus, help me. Jesus, I'm sorry. Help me. Please help me. I love you. Thanks for dying for me. Life is cheap. I can't even go to the store and buy nothing. I got to order it off the internet with people that control the mic and decide what they send me. You get what they send you now. You don't even get to go and pick it out. You don't get to be a picky, fussy, only child like you go to the store and you look through five different. What is that there got a tear or scratch? You get what they send you. It ain't things ain't like they used to be. We going somewhere, and if you ain't down with the PC politically correct and you're in here, man, you bound. Look what they did to Jesus. And then you stand on top of it. You're trying to do all that. You're dealing with society, and then you got the carcass flesh to deal with too. Oh no! And then they lying about you. I mean, come on. What else do we got? What would a guy like me? But the only thing I got is Jesus. I mean, why would I take the chance if they shoot me? The SWAT team shoots you, kills you. They set you up, frame you, then murder you, hang you in a jail. Who knows what the hell they'll do? Plant drugs on you, all because they need a scapegoat. Whether it's Dave driving his car into there, I never did nothing like that to nobody ever. Man, I was just always kicking it, man. KBR, kick back and relax, dog. Like I thought I was cool with people, and then they would just do this stuff. Like I was just too cool for them. They would take advantage. They would be mean. Kurt Anderson, one of my best buddies, he was always a kind of a snouty guy, though. But hey, you had to be posted up to be anybody, right? Remember? Hey, y'all. Some of y'all don't know, but we was shooting a duck. All right, you had to be posted up front with Kurt, or you was gonna have problems. All right. Yeah, all right. I should have been sending rockets to the moon with Pete Peterson, and then I wouldn't have got amberitis, and I'd be making $100,000. Yeah, I wish I would have done that. If I could do it over, I'd do it, but I can't. And all I got is Jesus. Think about it. It ain't about being weak, yellow bellied. It ain't about being a beta male. It ain't about nothing. But I'm concerned that nobody can help me. Nobody cares. It's true, and they keep lying. Looks like they're trying to put me in prison, actually. They keep just slowly making up stuff, and you get a judge that's got 1,000 cases, and he looks at a few things, and then maybe they got a couple videos or audio of you doing something, and he's like, lock them under the jail. I don't care. Do what you want. Oh, and then you're going to give me a little money, too? Okay. What? I didn't say nothing. What? Oh, you mean that stuff? Well, yeah, of course. Nothing new under the sun. The only hope is God. I'm pretty sure it all boils down to this. All this, maybe it all kind of started after I went to church with the Benels. Yet my mom thinks it was all over, but the problem's all when I started getting born again, saying, hey, I want to go to heaven. I accept Jesus as my savior. Boy, did I start having problems with people that I really didn't invite. Sure, I did a little marijuana, but you'd think, would that be the reason you get? So, have you ever wondered about these evil spirits or demons being connected to marijuana? Hey, if that don't, I was a perfect little kid, except for they brought Pete in, and I had smoked a cigarette. Other than that, why would a little kid that had one little couple hits of pot and laughed on the floor deserve to get abducted by Nambla so they can do you in the butt, lock you in a like they probably did to Jacob Wetterling. They probably had him, might even still be locked up. Who knows? In some Pizzagate dungeon, I don't know, but God help us in Jesus Christ's almighty name. They say he's dead, but how many years was he tortured in by weirdos that like to have sex with little boys? You don't hear about that much. How come we don't hear more about Nambla? It's all about a guy who might want to be married to a gal from 18 to 30, any race, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, because he wants to have a family. Boy, we hear about that though, and all this here. Boy, he sure is evil. How come we aren't going after more of these Nambla type that they tried to get me into? Oh, you mean because they've been covering it up in the Vatican City? It's sick. It's probably so sick. Most people probably couldn't even imagine how sick it is or how deep the evil goes or what they got carved out underneath the Denver airport and who knows where else. Because sin croucheth at the door, and if you've given your soul to Christ, oh, the devil, he's coming at you even more. Oh. And you're still gonna struggle. That's the tough rub. Even though you're trying, you're still you're probably gonna sin here and there. Girls, please do not bark. That's what it can only be. I'm guessing that's what it would have to be. Even people from IRC threaten me. All I can think of is it's got to be some evil people that are very like how they used to get offended and start killing people that spoke against homosexuality in the Rome old Roman Empire. I mean, you couldn't say nothing either, and they would have orgies. That's how the Roman Empire decayed from within. Took a couple thousand, how many years? So we got a ways to go, but and you'd be surprised at how infuriated they get. So that would have to be it. Some lettered agents can't. How many people have they framed? And then they probably got a few things on me that because I've liked naked ladies here and there, and maybe they got, you know, I don't know, nothing illegal, but hey, how they could be getting, and it's at the highest level. I mean, if we've got Lolita Island and the Lolita Express and Pizzagate and people, Prince Andrews, and we've got old Bill coming out of the portrait with the dress and high heels, the president of the United States. I mean, what the hell is going on? Even if it's just somebody that tried to frame him and they just made a portrait to embarrass him, or what in the hell's going on in this world? Who did I piss off? And what level were they willing to go to? Because we're just in little old Forest Lake. How many people did they have there? Are they still trying to frame? My mom, Ava, says that she has a dream that somebody's coming to her house. John won't even help me with my homework. Who's all involved here? How much money are we talking? What in the hell's going on? This is the only hope I see. Only chance. Apparently they're going to start murdering Christians. Maybe they already have. They're doing it around, I mean, it happens around the world all the time. And you'd say, well, this is America. That's impossible, right? Why? Jesus said they did it to me, they'll do it to you. If they hated me, they're going to hate you. If we're living in the end times, why wouldn't they? Why would they putting in the SWAT team in a synagogue? It says they'll whip you in the synagogues. And then you'll get people, the atheists will go, whoa, God, oh, there goes that, he's crazy. No, I mean it's happening, isn't it? You see that all this, even more of this crap, it just so my only chance is to try this, stay sober. Don't overtake that. Read this. Pray to God. Repent when you sin and ask Jesus for help. I don't know what else you can do because they keep doing all this. So maybe it's unrealistic to think that even having anything other than basic needs at this point. I mean, because if they've done all this and lied, what else are they willing to do and try? Because something is different. Anyways, I better get going. I gotta get going. I need 2 hours minimum, probably 3. I gotta get some work done. Maybe even 4, because I like to work slow. in a hurry, to not work fast, especially when it's just another Apple report on Apple. That's not going to matter one bit. And this is what's going to matter. This is my eternal salvation. This is my spiritual food today that might, if I make a mistake or say an unkind thing, or, it's hard if I'm mean to my mom because she hasn't answered my phone call in 3 years and she takes heavy duty narcotics for her back pain because the top surgeon in the state of Minnesota can't even fix it. Well, I can only be so mad at her, but it hurts. So maybe if I read this and I do sin and say something or I shouldn't, maybe just the difference of reading this will get me back to that point of being able to repent, return to God, and say I'm sorry, and I'll keep trying. God, please forgive me. Cover it with the blood of Jesus. It's kind of scary being all alone or not having parents that are there anymore, and you could be without parents. People are dying from this virus. I don't know. It's just a time in my life where life is real in the sense like life. When you're younger, you don't think this. You can die. You don't. You think you can. You always got somebody as backup, or always got somebody there if you really, really need someone to talk to, or you need a hug, or someone to listen to you. And I can't believe I'm there at that point where I could be, all my family could be gone. Because honestly, I love my dad, but even if I struggle in the flesh, if your mentality is if you think I would work in Hollywood or I want to hear your locker room talk about a married woman's Hong Kongs, I don't. And if that's your mentality, I don't want to be your friend. I mean, I'll be your friend in Jesus. But if I'm gonna sit around and we're gonna have a special Bible study and we're gonna go out to lunch, I want people that are not gonna talk to me about Katy Perry's Hong Kongs. I don't care. She's married. I'll never be around her. Her dad was a pastor. I wish she'd go back to that, but I don't talk about. I try even if I look at naked lady. If I'm not looking at her naked, I certainly don't want to talk to my dad about Katy Perry's Hong Kongs. What can't you understand about that? That's the kind of person I am. So if you're that kind, please stay away from me unless you want to really talk about Jesus. We can't really be friends. I like Hong Kongs. I just don't like to talk about married women's ones or anyone's. Even though I like to see them still, I try not to. They're very, very beautiful and pretty women, but they're not mine. And looking at a woman with even less, I want my wife. I want to enjoy her body for the rest of my life. That's it. I don't want to introduce locker room talk like that to my life. I've got enough problems, struggles. And if you can't understand that, I can't help you. Maybe the preacher woman can help you out. Jesus went on to say, I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the kingdom of God arrive in great power. Now, this is a serious controversial. This is huge. This is Fifth Avenue. What caliber, honey? Huge. You follow me? I've been talking. I'm not. Maybe I'll come back later. The Transfiguration. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain to be alone. As the men watched, Jesus' appearance was transformed, and his clothes became dazzling white. Razzle dazzle. Remember Razzle Dazzle from that was a nickname from somewhere. Razzle Dazzle, far whiter than any earthly bleach could ever make them. Then Elijah and Moses appeared and began talking with Jesus. Peter exclaimed, Rabbi, wait a minute. I thought Jesus said, call no man rabbi. Didn't Jesus say, call no man rabbi? Why is Peter calling Jesus rabbi? It's wonderful for us to be here. Let's make 3 shelters as memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He said this because he didn't really know what else to say, for they were all terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them. And a voice from the cloud said, This is my dearly loved son. Listen to him. Suddenly, when they looked around, Moses and Elijah were gone, and they saw only Jesus with them. As they went back down the mountain, he told them not to tell anyone what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept it to themselves, but they often asked each other what he meant by rising from the dead. Is that like the 4 horsemen? Do you know when I was in Gatlinburg, I went and drove around. They had like a park, the Rocky Smoky Mountain, and it was slow and it took forever to get. Everybody was. That's the only thing to do in that town, pretty much. Just go drive around the circle and look at the nature, the path. People pull over, block the road, and go walk around, and then there's places to. When I was leaving, I looked over and there was a sign that said, I see 5 guys. And I'm thinking, where did that come from? What does that mean? That looks scary. It's like somebody put a sign up and wrote with their some kind of marker. I see 5 guys. And I just happened to look over, and it was just a random sign nailed to a tree or something that somebody just put up. And I'm thinking, that can't be good. What on earth? That just feels like a bad sign. Yeah, I didn't stay in the hotel room that night. I left that night. I thought, yeah, it's time to go. I stayed the first night. There has been so much bizarre. Makes me wonder if even in the highest ranks of Christianity, which, hey, if you're the devil, what better way than to water it down and get homosexual pastors and stuff and, hey, have imposters at the highest levels of leadership in the Christian church and allow them to start to water it down till it's not even the Bible anymore. I mean, it's a good play by the devil. I see 5 guys. Oh, and I'm pretty sure they weren't talking about sandwiches. Jesus discusses Elijah. Then they asked him, "Why do the teachers of religious law insist that Elijah must return before the Messiah comes?" Jesus responded, "Elijah is indeed coming first to get everything ready. Yet why do the scriptures say that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be treated with utter contempt? But I tell you, Elijah has already come, and they chose to abuse him, just as the scriptures predicted." They chose to abuse him. You know what that kind of almost reminds me? You remember in the Old Testament where Sodom and Lot and what was that? Sodom and Gomorrah, the guys that came for the angels or something, or the men, and that Sodom was so wicked, they came to the door and they said, "Let us out, or let us have these men that we have our way with them." And the guy was homosexuality was so bad and disgusting that the guy, you know what he says in the old that this if this ain't an example of how bad homosexuality is, he says, "Don't touch those men. I've got 2 virgin daughters. Go in and have your way with them, please. I don't care what you do to them, but do not touch these men carnally." I mean, come on. Go have your way. As long as you don't do sodomy and homosexual acts forcibly and rape these men, you can have your way with my virgin daughters. Whew, powerful. Or how about this? This might be one of the most significant Mark 9, chapter 9, verse 1. The most controversial, significant verse in the entire, one of them, top 3 in the entire New Testament. You know why? Because there's great debate about whether or not it's tough. And the Christians, even Old Dutch likes to dance around and they come up with all kinds of this tiptoeing through the tulips type stuff. And I'm saying, nope. I'm saying he was talking to the disciples of this time, just like everywhere else in this chapter. And he was saying, people standing there right now, Jesus would return before you die. In other words, there was people alive that Jesus was going to come back in that generation. And that's where preterism, right, starts. And so that Jesus already came back. You know, the guys that say, "Hey, you're not allowed to use instruments." Whatever. But you're like, how do you explain that away? Well, you come up with things like, "Oh no, he wasn't talking to the people right now. He was talking about the end times." And I'm going, but it says right now. This here is one of the most major causes of why some people don't believe in Jesus. They say he should have already come back. Oh, he did come back. I'll be honest, that's even one I don't like. But I say, hey, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Is the Bible absolutely perfect? Probably not. It was canonized by men who had Holy Ghost power, uttered. God spoke to them through dreams and visions and gave them revelation. And I believe a God of the universe, if he can create all this in women, he can put together a little book, at least what enough for we can figure out kind of what direction we're heading in. Sure. So is that maybe a mistake? Possibly. Is the Bible perfect? No, probably not perfect. Perfect. Depending, there's all sorts of books they left out. There's debate about what should have been or what. There's a lot of difference, but hey, the way we have it's been pretty consistent for 500 years or what, 250 years, 500 more. So hey, we get enough to realize that's why all this these seven beggars are saying hanging out with perverts like what's his name? Cervatus. Unless that's a woman on a voice changer, and unless seventh beggar does will say homosexuality is a sin and stop saying it's no big deal, we don't care anymore. He's the pervert, not me. And if he won't do that, and he won't say, he'll sit around and argue and say, they'll debate all day long. They'll say, yeah, I could never understand how seventh beggar could call people perverts, but yet he wouldn't say, at least say homosexuality was wrong. And apparently, appeared to me he had homosexual admins. None of my business, can't do anything about it, but that's not what the Bible says. It says it's still a sin. And I guess if God's going to allow him to stone me to death for that, I can't stop him. Might as well talk to the world. If there's not enough saints to save me, okay. It certainly wasn't before. Excuse me. I'm not being mean. And the problem is now, just even mentioning that, they'll say, oh, what a hateful person. No. Am I the only one left that'll even say it? I know there's some people that believe it, but they don't want to lose anything in this life. And I don't really have anything to lose, so except my life, I guess. So in a sense, I guess God has me right where he wants me, because maybe I can be used by him better than some other people because I'm willing to speak out. At least tell the truth. Try. Why do people get so angry though? That's the thing. Like why? Must be true. Jesus discussed. Did I read this? I think I read this. I'm tired. God, I gotta write this paper. I cannot write papers that don't mean nothing anymore. So really what this is some secret satanic cult thing. It's connected to that Kincaid or something. It's some bug spider tick that bit me, and it helps decide whether somebody's a leper or not or something. But I mean, it's healed, but it's not fully. Like it's still it's a little rough. It's healed. There's no open sore. It's not white. It's not red or itchy. It's just a little rough. You can go ahead and tell Joshua Van that Monday night, there's no seed in here. There'll never be a seed in here. One day night, no Joshua Van. Even if you put your creepy gloves on, there's never gonna be a seed in here. One and all. Never. You might as well tell Joshua Van that we're never gonna serve Oscar Mayer wieners ever. So, well, that's creepy. That's about as creepy as on Mark Levin. Google it, Mark Levin. Yeah. Oh, Dougie Harper. It sounds so sexy. Monday night, Monday night, yeah. Make me vomit. Oh, I'm gonna get so excited, like that. Like Dudley, more excited than Dudley gets when the crappies are biting out on Medicine Lake. I'm gonna get my black gloves on. You are one creepy guy, the creepiest guy I've ever met. Joshua. Right up there next to that Mark Levin thing. Number 2. Probably number 1 if I knew the truth. What you covering up? How many goats you got, Joshua Van? Who else wears those black gloves with you? What detail, young? Who are you really? Oh, the audacity that guy had to ban me. What a puke. Jesus discusses Elijah. Then they asked him, "Why do the teachers of religious law insist that Elijah must return before the Messiah comes?" Jesus responded, "Elijah is indeed coming first to get everything ready. Yet, why do the scriptures say that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be treated with utter contempt? But I tell you, Elijah has already come, and they chose to abuse him just as the scriptures predicted." Oh yeah, I read that. That's how I started talking about in the Old Testament how they thought it was so sick they would rather give them their virgin daughters to abuse. They said anything, do anything to these girls, but do not have anal sex. Men, I report, you decide. Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy. When they returned to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd surrounding them, and some teachers of religious law were arguing with them. When the crowd saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with awe, and they ran to greet him. "What is all this arguing about?" Jesus asked. One of the men in the crowd spoke up and said, "Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever this spirit seizes him, it throws him violently to the ground. Then he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast out the evil spirit, but they couldn't do it." Jesus said to them, "You faithless people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So they brought the boy, but when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, writhing and foaming at the mouth. "How long has this been happening?" Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied, "Since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can." "What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus asked. "Anything is possible if a person believes." "Oh, well, I still believe everything's going to work out and I'm going to get married and get a job that can afford a family." The father instantly cried out, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." When Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing, he rebuked the evil spirit. "Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak," he said, "I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again." Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, "He's dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. Afterward, when Jesus was alone in the house with his disciples, they asked him, "Why couldn't we cast out the evil spirit?" Jesus replied, "This kind can be cast out only by prayer." Usually it says prayer and fasting. Oh, there it is. Yeah, King James says fasting. See how they remove that? And they go, "Oh, some manuscripts." No, the main manuscript, the King James Version, the gold standard for 250 years, says that prayer and fasting. So somebody posts a message on here and it says bed net or something like, I'm seriously starting to wonder if when I had a surgery, because I get this electrical stimulation sometimes, and I had a CAT scan one time, and they told me there was a little BB, like a little, like a BB or something, maybe. I'm wondering if they went Minority Report on me and they installed something that reads my thoughts or something. Or is it just the analytics? Is it just simply the liquid, the LCD screen, the camera? Is it able to do a CAT scan? Is it, how do they read your thoughts? Is it witchcraft? Is it, because I mean, I'm serious. Like when I was in Shanna Mentefield's office, the therapist at Nystrom and Associates, we would be talking about stuff, and literally she'd look at her phone to see what time it was or message, and Google would recommend something based on what we were saying. We didn't even ask it to. So obviously the software is doing. You've seen Minority Report. I don't know. Gratefully, I mean, the only thing they're going to get on me is I do still think about naked or ladies sometimes. I really want a wife. I do. And so, but as far as being weird with doing like Jeffrey Dahmer, murder, rape, children, nah, thank God. It's not my cross to bear. So I'm not real worried, but it's kind of freaky when they can predict or they're like, you know, how this stuff can, and it's like if you be quiet about this, you'll be all right. Just don't talk about that and homosexuality, and you'll be fine. Pretty simple, right? I don't know. Trade this life for extension. I mean, if I can't be happy and have liberty and have First Amendment, I mean, mom won't even talk for 3 years. Literally. I have not talked to my mother other than she called for 5 minutes, like 3 times in the last 3 years. And I'm an only child, and I was with my mother. We talked every day. And yet she still talks to Avis. So apparently she likes to get high on her pain medication. Or not high, but she gets her feeling good and she wants to talk to Avis because I guess they can rail against Trump. Like, that's a waste of time. People spent 4 years talking about the guy's personality. I don't think he's a very nice guy. I don't think Junior Mintz is a very nice guy. I do think. I could be wrong. I do like Eric. I do like Ivanka. I like how quiet Kushner is. I do not like guys that are very arrogant, flamboyant. I'll be honest. Okay? Again, I don't I don't know what that guy. Maybe is he doing something creepy with Joshua Van with those black gloves and seeds and goats that I don't know because maybe they know something I don't know. But as far as being pro, I mean, remember, I'm just naive. I wouldn't know my best friend would break in my house and steal my mom's wedding ring and all my electronic equipment. I wouldn't know Dave would want to drive and give me a felony. I mean, if he would have done that like at 10 at night, oh God. And even then, I had to run like hell because he's walking. What if the police come and say, "Oh, how did that car get in there, buddy?" And there's snow out there and there's tracks. And I'm thinking, why did you do that? I didn't do anything to you, Dave. How'd you get that car? Everything's a setup. Everything's a setup to what? Advance your own detail or protect the person you're having sex with or what? Or the goats? And to get more power. I don't know, I'm pretty naive, but hey, if Big Don, look, maybe Big Don, look, I've been a Republican all my life. Voted Republican ever since preschool. I voted for Reagan in kindergarten. I worked for Republicans. My dad was a Republican. But, I'm getting older and I've started to listen to both sides. And now, if Big Don is going to tell me that he's going to be president and he's running for president, I'm done. Now, if he wants to be halfway, I'm thinking, Trazodone? Yeah, you're going to need something more than Wellbutrin or something like that, Maybe he's on a little, maybe he ups his dose of it. I heard he likes his Adderall. Maybe he takes a little too much Adderall and he gets that kind of. Yeah, like if the Republican Party is going to get behind Trump, well, they're sick in the head. It's that simple. He cannot win. I don't care if you have civil war. He's not going to be president. Stop wasting my time. Stop wasting everybody's time. Like I said, if you want to eat cake and you want to get Ivanka and Kushner and Eric together and have a few parties, that's cool. Whatever, let's do that. But he ain't gonna win either. Nobody's gonna win for the next 50 years. There will not be, if the Republic even survives. If we don't figure out how to be fair, more inclusive, they're gonna keep burning them buildings down, and once they burn them down, they're coming this way. And it's going to be $50 bills and a wheelbarrow full of bread. So if you got somebody of color, a woman, probably two of them, I'd start there. I And that polar bear is a Republican, and so are all the police, and I don't trust them much anymore now that they let this happen. I don't trust anybody. I don't know who to trust but God. And the flesh, this carcass, this bag of flesh carcass is horrible. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I'm starting to wonder if there's more to this Satanism without sounding psychiatric. Look, we know, go look at the murals at the Denver airport. Go look at the end of the. Okay, you can YouTube. You can watch semis driving through tunnels. Look, there's tunnels. We see them. They cut them through roads and freeways and interstates all over the place for trains to go through, etc. They have those underground and semis. Apparently, they're connected to different cities. I don't know how vast it is. So I don't know if somebody has hollowed out the ground underneath here and they put some kind of, what do they call it? Sage or something. There's some kind of plant or some kind of herb that causes the body to lust or to feel irritated or to feel as if it stimulates the body and it makes it harder to resist the flesh. I don't know. I'm just coming up with some hypothesis here. I heard something about that online. They were talking about something that there's plants. I mean, they're medicinally. There's just about natural use for anything on the planet, but they've got big pharma. All your ADD, fish oil. They got all sorts of stuff that is supposed to, if you have the money, it's expensive. It's natural. I'd like to try it, maybe. But I'm serious. I don't know if they put some kryptonite underneath my floor or what. But I used to be Superman. Okay? I'm not even joking. I was Superman priest. Nothing. I don't care. You could run a naked lady through here with a salad and I wouldn't even look at it. I wouldn't even budge an eye. I don't know you. You ain't my wife. Why am I gonna get my flesh going? I ain't trying to get all worked up. I ain't looking at you. I don't get to touch you. You ain't mine. You're not my property. I ain't looking at you. I ain't gonna get my flesh going. I'm serious. I think I forget what they call it. Sagebrush or something. To get enough of it and it makes your flesh feel like it's like it irritates it to where you feel like you gotta. I'm not kidding. I read this stuff. Go look at. You can find the stuff, and I'm not. I don't know if it's all true. I report. You decide. Satanism. I never knew until the internet that they got these pictures of the Baphomet being worshipped by children. So do they have witches and warlocks? There was one in Forest Lake with a truck that said warlock, while them cops were handing out business cards, pointing at me with the binoculars, going, "Watch out! He might be looking at your kids." I'm pretty sure there's some weirdos right now in Forest Lake, probably been up for a few days on methamphetamine, probably looking at some pretty weird fetish porn. Probably go start with them instead of me. I'm just sitting here reading my Bible. I'm just guessing statistically here. Maybe a goat or two somewhere. 150-year-old town. But I'm just little Nicky boy, innocent, Lois's grandson. I would have no idea about really anything because people have been making shit up about me since day one. Slowly boiling that frog. And now when I got him cornered with every argument, the only thing they can try to do is say he's nuts. I'm not kidding you. Something has changed. In the last year, I'm not kidding. I'm about ready to dig a hole, get a jackhammer. I got to fix this concrete anyways. I got to re-pour it. I'm going to see what's underneath there. I'm going to do. I think Michael Jordan, the GOAT or something, came drilling through here with his big They got you. Have you seen some of that equipment they got up in Alaska on Alaskan bush? That's the kind of holes they've got that type of equipment underground in these networks. Why do they have these networks underground? They're driving 18 wheelers at 90 miles an hour in these. You know how you go if you're going to Minneapolis and they've got those tunnels, or in New York? Apparently, they've been hollowing out underneath the United States and who knows the world, and that would make sense that hell's down there. Hell. Heaven's up in the clouds somewhere. It's eternal. The Bible says this is a world without end. What the heck is going on? Why all of a sudden am I struggling? And I'm not talking about bothering a girl. I'm talking about just on my own, realizing that the flesh, the battle with the flesh and thinking about a wife or something has increased exponentially beyond anything. Remember, I was wondering what's in Ryan Faulkner's pockets. I'm wondering, did somebody place some secret bush outside my house or something, like some herbs or something that causes the flesh to fight against itself? I mean, I know I'm joking here a little bit, but I mean, I've been dealing with the flesh like never before, like having to fight the good fight beyond what's not normal, natural. Because in the past, as a Christian 101, right, you deny the flesh as much as possible. Yeah, you make mistakes, but at least you're different. You're separated from the world. And when you do make a mistake, you still acknowledge it. And you tell God you're sorry. And you say, hey, I'm trying to not return to my vomit. I'm trying to serve you, God. I've been trying for 30 years. I still don't have a wife. I'm trying. I love you. I do not want to go to hell. And I want to go to heaven, and I want to do whatever I can to continue to please you while I struggle. And I can't be perfect, so I accept Jesus Christ as the propitiation for that sin. Because what else can you do? How are you ever going to separate yourself? Jesus is the great equalizer. God made man, and Jesus made him even. It's only fair, because as far as I can see, unless they got some secret rock outside now that causes man to lust or something, it just keeps getting worse as you get older, I guess. And I'm trying to be as polite, respectful, and G-rated as possible, but these are topics, these are salvational issues. If you get to a point where you become stiff-necked and hard-hearted, and your conscience gets seared like a hot iron, and you're not even willing to acknowledge or incapable of recognizing that looking at a woman with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. If you get to a point where you can't even be Kirk Cameron and say that, you could be, according to this, I'm not judging, you could be in big trouble. I could be in big trouble, and I'd be scared to death if I ever got to that point. And I just thank God that at least I know I struggle, but at least God allows me to still have a conscience to recognize that, hey, yeah, sure, there's not very many girls that would want anything to do with me because I don't have a whole lot to offer anymore, and I'm old, ugly, and poor, right? And I'm slow, stupid, and I read the Bible, and I say homosexual. I didn't vote for gay marriage, and so my skill set's low. And so in the world's view, I have very little to bring to the table other than my faith and a few other things, but it's neither here nor there. The point is, I understand most people think I'm a loser and they want nothing to do with me on against the world's terms. I understand that. But God still loves me, and I don't care. It matters not what I mean. At the end of the day, am I getting? Do I got a chance to go to heaven and not hell? That's what I'm trying for. And there seems to be a whole lot of evil going on. That maybe I brought some of it on myself by talking to all these people on the internet for 30 years, and finally, I guess some roosters came home to roost. I guess is that what they say? Sure, there was times I was disrespectful and not Christian-like, and yeah, I suppose if you acted like that in public, you'd probably get well, you might have a problem. But it was the internet. Everybody acted in certain ways, and certainly they didn't act any different the way they treated me, but I'm the Christian. But do I deserve to have my dog hurt? And all this crazy all because I'm a halfway decent guy that played sports and had nice hair, and I had nice clothes because I was an only child, and my mom made sure. And so maybe, yeah, I got a little extra attention than somebody with three brothers. And so maybe that develops a little bit of an attitude. Plus, you're hyper and annoying, and you ask a lot of questions. But boy, the parents loved me. I mean, I can't believe it. I wish I would have had the mindfulness at the time to realize what nice girls I had an opportunity to be friends with, and I could have been slowed myself down and said, hey, just take it easy and be friends with them, and you got about 20 of them, and just go to school and mind you, and eventually maybe one will let you take them out to dinner, and maybe you'll marry one, right? Yeah, I mean, I was always going so fast and hyper. I couldn't appreciate it at the time. But while this is happening, it could only be my faith. And again, don't let them convince you to give up on your faith, even if it's all you got. Even if there was one person out there, because the seventh beggars and the Helens and the DKSs and the Greek Trojans and the Jeremys and the Carls, and I mean, they had me near. I mean, they had me about as close as you can want to not live on Earth as you can possibly get without feeling like you want to hurt yourself or others. That's part of the reason why I gave up chat. I mean, my self-esteem and my self-worth, and even Secret Doctrine told me you might as well just shoot yourself. He said, do you know how many people we have that want you dead and hate your living guts? And I said, no, how many? Never told me. But his butt buddy, Cal, was doing this. He's doing this. I got this here bullet for you, Nick. Got your name on it. I listened to that for about 6 months. And finally I decided, after Bad Boy said I would make a good housewife, I said I had enough. I ain't got no friends here. None. I gave him a few days to modify that position, and he didn't. And it hurt my feelings. And yeah, we're not going to be friends anymore. Just like Dave, just like Mike. You can't realize how. And then he got just goofy. God, he got goofy. I don't know if he slept for like a week. Like every time I wake up, I go and Lamb of God, he's still on that mic talking about, hey, my cousin runs the girls basketball team down there in St. Paul. Like, and he's like, just wait, people. You'll see. Nick's gonna be selling Oscar Mayer Wiener shirt any moment. I guess he was never my friend. There's a reason he calls himself bad. It's not good. It's bad. It's not good. Why would you want to call yourself bad? He got really bizarre. It's incredibly tough, and I don't mean to whine, and I'm not whining. Girls whine. Girls were born to whine. I like listening to girls whine. But my mother is checked out, and she doesn't know if she hit her head or if somebody was at the door hitting her head, or she didn't tell Avis. She thinks she's in so much pain, and all this stuff is going on. Well, it wouldn't be a far stretch to say that they've got to. Why is Tom's thumb? Okay, he's an old guy, caught it on him. Looks like somebody took a hammer to his frickin'. Why won't John help me with my homework all of a sudden? And then he mocks me. Why can I not control? I used to be Superman. And something has me squirming. Squirming is not love. The squirming don't stop. It's not love. It's just more evil. Or there's something down there or something out there. But, it's scary in a sense that I got no brothers or sisters. I got no cousin, really. My dad thinks it's normal to talk about Katy Perry's honkers. He doesn't know me at all. If he thinks that in a million years I would be in, if they paid me 5,000. If Brad Pitt called me up today and said, "Hey, I'll pay you $5,000 a day, come here, move wire with Elise," I'd say, "No, thank you, Brad. I want nothing to do with Hollywood movie production." I'm not saying LA. LA is the town of angels. There's a significant Jewish population there, and I'm always in the Jewish Christian Alliance. I'm always in favor of Jews returning to Israel for a variety of reasons. One of which, because it's the eternal home of the Israelites, the Jewish people. That land was given to God. The Muslims have plenty of land. Why do you keep wanting to give them more land? Why does the peace burden have to go on these Jews that, again, you'd have to ship them all around the world? You know how expensive that's going to be? Peace would be really simple. Why does everybody side with the Muslims? The only thing I can think of is a judgment from God again, because his diasporas happened more than once, 3-4 times, Babylonian. And even though he's still having people return there, there's chaos. Israel. It's the homosexual sodomite capital of the Middle East. It just is. It's very secular. It's no different than Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's the truth. You think God is happy with that? But he says in his word that he's going to, in the end, he's going to bring the Jews home. Even in the midst of all this. And so I support it for that. I support it because he said he gave it, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He gave that land to the Jews. It just doesn't, it's almost as bad as, seriously, Big Don thinking, it's almost as bad as Big Don thinking after what we've been through, that he thinks it's not only appropriate to run or not put his, that he's going to be pregnant. You know what that's like? That's like meeting a gal at the or meeting a gal up at the laundromat, asking her for her phone number, and she takes a restraining order out against you, and you still think you're going to marry her, unless her dad did the paperwork, or you know, Willie Robertson, or maybe the Secret Service police or somebody who knows that's trying to frame you. And they're all the reasons why your dad won't help you with your accounting. Your mom is having nightmares and hitting her head, apparently. Not sure what's going on. She won't talk to me, but it's pretty nerve-wracking to be alone. But there's still that peace. I don't know if it passes all understanding, but there's a serenity in this, no doubt. Without that, I'd be bananas. Oh, could you imagine me trying to explain some of this coming out of my mouth? If I didn't have that, if they had one of those on me, or one beer can, oh God, they'd have me locked up in the state mental hospital so quicker than you could say snot. And I think we read that's their goal anyways. And so I don't know what else I can do other than tell the truth. You try to be polite, but speak the truth of this. I'm reading it from the new. I mean, what more do you want? It's not even the KJV. I've already started reading a different translation for you. I can't be more respectful. And I suppose they probably don't want you talking about it. Do they want you talking? I mean, they hide in plain sight. Google it. Google murals, painting. It looks like the end of the world. And it's NORAD and all those tunnels. It looks like everybody, when we have nuclear war, is going to be racing towards Colorado because they have the NORAD and the nuclear bunkers that in underground. That's going to be one of the only places to go, or other places. And there, it's the depiction of the end of the world in the airport. Well, they used to have it. You could find it, I'm sure. Stuff everybody's worried about watching a movie from Hollywood, or getting some heroin, or getting drunk because you think you're special because you're from the United States. What's so special about us? We don't even make anything here anymore, other than the fact that we got the Jews out of the Domino's Nazi pizza oven in World War II. And yeah, we had manufacturing, but Big Don, okay, as much as you think Big Don is a narcissist, the guy, no, he's a smart cookie. He is. And as far as I can tell, I got to agree with Daddy. Show me one thing he did that was un-American. Other than being the big a-hole, what did he do? He tried to continue to contain Iran, the axis of evil, get nuclear proliferation. All right. And I'm right over here with Never Again. I'm going, how come the only black guy you had was, what's the guy's name? Oh, I like to tell his story too. There's Ben Carson. Is he the one that died? Did Ben Carson get this? One of those black guys he had on his staff died. Who was that? No, that was Harmon. Did you look? Remember Herman Cain? Wasn't Herman Cain got the virus? Okay, so if you think you're invisible, it's stuff like that that has made me realize life is very precious. It's very delicate. It made me realize anybody could be affected by this. Your money ain't going to do you nothing. If they send in the Terminator spider and gives you the carbuncle and you get leprosy and then they throw you in the can, can you imagine if they had those 5 guys without sandwiches got me in the can when they sent and this wasn't healed yet? Imagine all the bacteria and nasty. You don't get none of this, and not only do you not get your Q-tips, and you don't get none of this pretty stuff. Thank you, Jesus, for this. Thank God. And you think I'm going to go Oscar Mayer Wiener on you? I mean, you guys are the ones that are mentally ill. But Big Don even says, our roads are crumbling. I mean, the guy is smart. I think he was a good. I think he's a jerk. I think he's a mean narcissist. Look, Don, to get up in front of doing your own marketing when you're, calling the Phil Donahue show in the 60s is one thing, but getting in front of the whole world when you're the president doing this, yeah, you just can't. I don't know. What made you think you could do that and not have people spend the next 4 years talking about what a big a-hole you are? And now the fact that you really think it's like, you don't really think this, do you, buddy? Because my daddy loves you, and he cried when you didn't get reelected. And I'm trying to think, well, daddy will talk about her Hong Kongs, and so he's not quite all there either. Did all right in California, land of fruits and nuts. He's all right, he's fine, but what is going on? This world is crazy. Not me. They'll have you believe that. They probably don't want. Why would they want you to talk? But they're hiding in plain sight too. So even people have been talking on the internet. Bill Gates has been talking about this depopulation. Hey, get away from me. Jesus is not about depopulation. Maybe not even the Jewish people. I don't know, folks. I don't know what God wants anymore. I pray that hopefully, by following the law and doing the next right thing and avoiding the alcohol and the drugs, that God will protect me until he doesn't. But it's nerve-wracking knowing Mama's not there. John took off on me. You wonder why I would say something that I believe is true, but wouldn't keep to myself anymore? Well, I had to, as part of my explanation to my daughter, so that all the lies. Yeah, I lived with you for a while, Maddie, honey bunny. You were my baby. You were in my arms for the first few months at Greenfield. Nobody else's. We slept on the couch. We slept together. I changed your diapers. And now you don't even want to talk to your daddy. Because what they did, they took you away from me. That's tough on a man. And then they continue to lie. And Dusty needs his goats. So he'll keep saying stuff, and your mom will make up lies and say, oh, I ruined her credit and all this bullshit. when she was running around. I mean, it just goes on and on. But it's so many lies and lies and lies that with all the lies and a few things, what would stop them from doing a Kirk Dahlheimer? Apparently, yeah, yeah. If you think Kirk Dahlheimer hung himself, no way. You want to talk about a murder scene? Never prove it. I get you don't get. They don't even give you stuff to hang yourself with. If you think if you think I believe Epstein killed himself, yeah, I got more bridges for sale. He's on Lolita Island right now. Too big to fail. He had evidence on who knows who all around the world with people to release it. They snuck him out of there in the middle of the night. At least that's my hypothesis. There's no way that guy's. That's why he put that dress with Bill in it as a reminder. Hey, don't screw with me. I got all y'all. You don't see me on Lolita Island. You don't got nothing unless they plant it. But if the introductory "I tell you the truth" indicates that the promise in this verse is important, but the meaning of the promise is much debated. It might suggest that some of the disciples will, one, witness Jesus' resurrection from the dead. Oh, here we go. Here's their great explanation. It's not very. I don't even buy this. This here was a mistake of some sort. This was translated something. This is clearly the way they worded it, that Jesus was supposed to come back during their lifetime. The introductory "I tell you the truth" indicates that the promise in this verse is important, but the meaning of the promise is much debated. It might suggest that some of the disciples will, one, witness Jesus' resurrection from the dead, two, experience the coming of the Spirit upon the church, three, see the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. That's preterism. Or four, witness Jesus' transfiguration as a foretaste of God's coming kingdom. Mark's placement of the promise right before the transfiguration account indicates that he probably meant the transfiguration as the fulfillment. Yeah, the preterists believe Jesus came back, something to do with that AD 70. This account is tied to both chronologically 6 days later and thematically. So if my voice is bothering you, I don't mean to be aggressive. I just it takes me longer when I try to talk real soft. I gotta talk in my normal voice, or otherwise I'm gonna be here till noon. Both chronologically 6 days later and thematically, the presence of Peter, James, and John might be the fulfillment of. Some standing here, some interpreters believe that the pre-incarnate glory of the Son of God broke through the veil of his humanity at the Transfiguration. It is more likely that this event was an advance glimpse of the Son of Man's future glory. The appearance of Elijah and Moses might indicate the fulfillment of the law and the prophets in Jesus. The suggestion to build three shelters as memorials, literally three tabernacles, places Moses, Elijah, and Jesus on the same footing. The suggestion ignores Peter's own earlier confession and the fact that only Jesus had only transfigured. There's more to this too. I can't remember exactly. You'd have to check with a preacher woman. A lot of them out there. I'd check with a preacher woman because they talk about this here because these were angels, right? Something. What is it? Forget what. How do you explain this? Right. So Moses and Elijah. A cloud. The voice from the cloud issued a stern rebuke of Peter's suggestion. This is my dearly loved son, not an equal of Moses and Elijah. God's voice also confirmed Peter's earlier confession, and it indirectly rebuked Peter for rejecting Jesus' prediction of his suffering by telling him and the other disciples to listen to him. Only Jesus remained, not Moses or Elijah. Jesus was clearly superior to Elijah and Moses. Secrecy would no longer be necessary after the Son of Man had risen from the dead, because Jesus the Messiah would then be clearly understood as a political and milleristic, so he could be proclaimed openly to all. Only after the fact did the three disciples understand what Jesus meant by rising from the dead. You know, I live my life like I'm serious. Like I can't believe we're here. I'm here. Like that guy might, his mom lived to be 92, and he's been my buddy off. He started driving me around to sports when I was 4 years old. He was always there. He would come to the pits of hell and get me because of my mom, right? And he cared for me. But to not ever even be able to call that guy on the phone, he's getting. I can tell he's getting old, and he could live another 10 years or 10 days. Never know. He's been having some kidney pain or something. Some pains, and it really. Instead, you don't always think about that when you're younger, but as at my age, knowing that I've got nobody, it all makes me more mindful. DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, in the sense that, hey, you got to be careful with your decisions because you know can you I just can't imagine like the guy not walking around up there if he were to die. I could die too, stressed out as I am. I could have a heart attack, I would guess. So I don't think about, I mean, selling hot dogs or drinking alcohol is so far from my mind that if anybody thought that was even remotely anywhere near in the next gazillion years, I got bridges to sell you. And I don't know why that happened to my dog. Only after the fact did the three disciples understand what Jesus meant by rising from the dead. The disciples wanted to understand the prediction that Elijah must return before the Messiah comes. How did this prediction fit with Jesus' proclamation of God's kingdom and his prediction of his own death, resurrection, and return? The teachers of the law were correct. Elijah must return before the consummation of God's kingdom, but Scripture also said that the Son of Man would suffer greatly. So apparently, this is something the Jews say has not happened, right? But the Christians say, no, it happened right here in Mark. He was an angel, he was there, and then he went away again. Yeah, kind of sketchy. Preacher woman, you'd have to talk to a preacher woman for any, I can't remember any further than that. The teachers of the law erred by not realizing that Elijah had already come. As a result, they failed to recognize that the kingdom of God had already come and that the Messiah's suffering and death that were predicted in Scripture were already taking place. This is the fourth and last exorcism in Mark. Exorcism. Again, most people don't get squirmy if you mention an exorcism, other than the fact that we don't know anywhere you can get one of those anymore. Bad Boy says he can still do one. However, if you get some evangelical Christians, it's okay for W though to did everybody ever forget that W said that out loud? He said, "Hey, my God spoke to me. I'm supposed to finish my daddy's war with Sodom." That's okay, but if regular Christians got together and said, "Hey, we're gonna cast these demons out," they're like, "Hey, does anybody got any trazodone, and do we have any beds available at the state hospital?" You see the hypocrisy? The disciples were unable to perform the exorcism, and yet I'm pretty sure NAMBLA is run by the Vatican. Pretty sure. The disciples were unable to perform the exorcism, so Jesus performed it, emphasizing what better way to hide than to get people not to talk about it, to worry. It's okay for Big Don to be 25 years older than Melania on his third marriage. It's okay for Dana Perino's husband to be 30 years nearly older. It happens. So if you got this, so you go from eligible bachelor to creeper over $50 bills and a wheelbarrow. Yeah. Let's pick on the guy who might be praying for an 18 to 30-year-old, any color skin, equally yoked, married for eternity, and maybe we'll put a dress on for him once in a while and read the Bible. Maybe go fishing, and if we're real lucky, she's gonna get to playing with them sticks for me. Get her some real special yarn. Oh, let's go after that guy though, huh? The disciples were unable to perform the exorcism, so Jesus performed it, emphasizing the necessity of faith. This is another example of Jesus' great healing ability and of the disciples' failure. Jesus and the three disciples, Peter, James, and John, rejoined the other disciples, the crowd, and the teachers of the law. This account is similar to the story of Moses descending from Mount Sinai to rejoin the people of Israel. Hey, they were no different than remember, there's nothing new under the sun. The Israelites were having orgies, and instead of crack pipes, I guess they had or meth pipes. They had a golden calf they were worshiping and like doing all kinds of weird sex acts together, and God even forgave them. And he said, "You're my people." Some have suggested that just as Moses reflected God's glory when he descended from the mountain, Jesus' glorious transfiguration was still evident. So the crowds responded with awe. It is equally possible that Jesus' arrival after being absent was enough to elicit the awe of the crowd. These symptoms are often associated with epilepsy, but Mark emphasizes the demonic origin of the child's problem. The disciples' inability to heal the child magnifies the effect of Jesus' power. Jesus said to them, Jesus might have been speaking to the disciples, the Father, the crowd, or all present. How long their lack of faith was obstinate and hard-hearted. The demons, it says right here, these people that they say demons. It's okay to say demons. The demons' reaction was nonverbal but violent, as the Father had described. The demon's activity had been taking place since he was a little boy, and the demon had tried to kill the child in various ways. If you can, the father's request indicates that his faith had been severely dampened. Jesus challenged the man to believe in the power of God. Anything is possible if a person believes. While lack of faith can hinder God's saving activity, the crowd was approaching, so Jesus quickly proceeded with the exorcism. The eye and the command to the demon is emphatic. Dramatizing Jesus' authority and power. Never enter him again. At times, exorcisms could be temporary. The demon's violent reaction revealed its strength and showed Jesus' greatness. The account ends, surprisingly, by stressing the importance of prayer rather than of faith. You read that? Stressing the importance of prayer. The Bible says, pray without ceasing, pray incessantly. Oh, I still gotta do the dishes. You know, you say, what's this peace that passes all understanding? Have you ever had I have as much peace. No. Have you ever had any peace that passed? Yes, I think I did. When was that, Nick? Oh, probably when I met somebody somewhere. I'm sure I talked to somebody. In life, if you ever talk to somebody and it feels like you ever like you feel like you know somebody but you don't know why, or like they know you but you don't know why, or you feel really, you just met him and you feel really comfortable around him, and you have no reason why, that kind of thing? Sure. Yeah, that thing. And you're like, okay. Yeah. What is this peace that passes all understanding? I don't know. But hey, but how Seventh Beggar goes around, unless Seventh Beggar's a woman, and I'm pretty sure I had a dream that Seventh Beggar. Can you believe now? What now? Would I get on there and be like, "Hey, Seventh Beggar"? Because I have not thought of. Well, I did. I did kind of give Seventh Beggar a little extra attention. I had this dream that Seventh Beggar and another guy were in a hotel. I don't know if it was in town. It was somewhere familiar, and they were like, "Hey, uh." They were talking to me about a girl, some girl, and I'm like, huh? And then the dream ended. Swear to God. Dream about anybody else on Pal Talk? Nope. Oh, Jeff Larson, I did. Had a night. I wouldn't trust that guy. I had a dream he was in he was hiding somewhere in a trailer, like a crappy used trailer, and he was up to no good. Like he was like an old used trailer he had, and he was, he went to prison for what do you call it? Fraud, home improvement fraud and stuff. So he was lurking around somewhere in a traveler trailer, like a little one, where you'd get hauled behind a truck. And if you listen to that guy over time, he's mostly evil. Had that dream. Other than that, I have not dreamed. I was on Pal Talk for 10 years, and those are the only dreams I had about any people. So again, if you ever go back and say, well, so what? You had a dream. Well, you think, given your logic, that dreams don't mean nothing, you'd either a dream more about, if you're talking to that many people that long, that much, you'd have more dreams of people you're talking to for 10 years. You think? I didn't. I thought that was pretty. And that seven beggar has been in the last 6 months. Which I could never understand because, yeah, seventh beggar, he was angry, mean, and he would make you feel like you. I mean, he could probably make some people want to go jump off a bridge. He would be so mean, and he would have these admins, these strange admins. As far as I can tell, Servetus is a homosexual. Karadig is a homosexual. Uh, there's a couple lesbians. I don't know. Helen has her best friend is homosexual, and she's a Greek Orthodox. So, that's fine. I'm just saying it's not 250 years ago, or 200, 150, even 50 years ago. You wouldn't. You would be nice and loving, but you wouldn't say like Seventh Beggar says other people are perverted, but it's okay to have. Like I said, unless Servetus could be an undercover lettered agent on a voice changer or something, possibly, then it sounds very homosexual to me. So if you're supposedly an Orthodox Jew, you have no right, if you're allowing a homosexual admin in an Orthodox Jewish Christian, if you're Mark Levin allowing on your I don't care what it is. And it's not even an ad for anything. It's just bizarre. There's so many weird things going on. I don't understand it. And people have been lying and setting me up all along. Getting offended, leaving. Oh, and that gal at the University of Minnesota, I mean, she was top notch. Probably never touched a drink or smoked. Probably never swore in her whole life. And she was so interested in old crappy Nicky boy. And I was too dumb to see it at the time, or it just wasn't God's will, you know? I was so ignorant that me not picking up on her vibe would cause her to transfer schools. And then I go and get amberitis. Now I'm old and ugly, and I don't know why. How do I get rid of this? I was thinking about shaving, but there's, why did he give me this? You know why he gave it to me? Because Big Don probably called him up and said, "Hey, we need a diagnosis here that makes this guy look crazy. He's starting to talk about me, and it's an underlying issue, right? Good cover, except none of the symptoms. Scaly, yellow, flaky, none. Oily, no. Doesn't he red, itchy? No. He's got the wrong diagnosis. But it's convenient if you want to go ahead and try to say I'm crazy. Yeah, look at him. He's even got that. And that's probably because he's a little. Listen to him on YouTube. Yeah, that's making more sense now, isn't it, boys? Huh? What's that? That looks like a dangerous weapon, don't it, boys? And I'm saying, no, not unless you got a search warrant. I choose life. I'm just reading my Bible. I'm telling it shouldn't be illegal. If I got a First Amendment, shouldn't. You know. Hopefully, everybody's just a little stressed out. We're gonna get this vaccine, and for the most part, the Billy Bob hit squad, Christian hit squad, picture Billy Bob 777. God, that guy was a puke. And I'm pretty sure he's a little guy, real little guy. Prospect, maybe. Prospect for the Hells Angels or something. Go take out Nicky Boy, and you're in. Is that? Are we getting going down the right? One percenters, the Mongols, some motorcycle gang. For some reason, I'm not buying Kenny the Trucker story either. Or any of them. His name is Secret Doctrine for a reason. Secret Service. No, not on Pal Talk, the number one world communication device around the world, the only one left. There would not be any lettered agent on, certainly not calling themselves secret anything. That would. No, you're just crazy, Nick. No, I'm not. Oh, I don't know what to do about this. I'm getting a little frustrated. I know there's something. This doesn't seem to be really helping. I was thinking about, just for the sake of trying to find some people that I don't like the idea though now that not that anybody cares, but it would be pretty reasonable to believe that it wouldn't take much and all of a sudden, oh, it's that guy, right? If you were in public, I suppose. Oh, it's that guy. Uh, I would like to have some people that do not consume alcohol and believe in the Bible. Maybe play a little buck euchre, game of cribbage in there, something to do, talk about the Bible. I wouldn't mind that, but I don't want to talk about Carrie Perry shirt, honker honkers. Not interested. If that's your mentality, we're just probably not a good fit. Just saying. No, I'm not perfect. I like naked leg. I like honkers too. I just try to keep it to the one that maybe God will give me and they'll be all mine forever. Whenever she lets me touch her, that kind of thing. Yeah. Keep that locker rooms, talk to yourself. Don't want to hear it. Not interested. Uh, what did Jesus mean when he said that some of the disciples would see the kingdom of God arrive in power? There are several possibilities. Oh, it's really bizarre. What happened to Christopher Strand? I mean, that guy had me snookered. He remember he was the professor at Metropolitan State University. He likes the wild turkey. When he came to class, he was shaking so bad I was about ready to take him to an AA meeting. I took he he literally. I had one accounting course left, other than this last capstone course, and I had been putting it off and putting it off because it was the hardest management, cost accounting, and for me. And I had taken a class before him, a different one, and he literally gave me 79.9. And I had talked to him before class, and I literally had a front and back. I had like 4-point font. I had like 10,000 letters on. I mean, literally, I had to. See, it doesn't help you. You can have a cheat sheet, no spaces, but unless you look at it, it ain't gonna do you no good on a test unless you know where stuff is, right? So I had pretty much everything on that test. I know I got a B, and I because he had screwed up something before. He was supposed to let me retake a quiz that he didn't show up with. He said I agreed. I said, hey, if I'm close, if I get close, will you bump me up to a B? He said, yeah, sure. And he purposely gave me 79.9 or 69. Yeah, 79.9. So not a B, a C plus. And so what happens the next semester? And I even called the accounting chair, Linda McCann. I'm like, is there any way we can replace this guy? I can't take this guy. He's gonna fail me. He's not. I can't trust him. And I'm starting to wonder who he is. He looks kind of like Dusty's brother or cousin or something. And I'm thinking, because remember, Dusty's got a computer science guy and an accountant brother. Just kidding. No, but he is big and tall, a goon like that. He's kind of a goon. And yeah, he acted like one too. And he lied to me. And I worked really hard in his class. Showed up every day. Even shaved my beard for him. And it was so bad with him, I was gonna go to Concordia and pay like $5,000 for one course they were gonna let me take as a visiting student one. Who's the teacher? Strand. So I go, what's the other college? Oh, the one right next door, Hamlin. Same thing, Strand. He cornered the market on me. And then I was able to, I put it off for a semester. And and now he's gone. Nowhere to be found. He's not even teaching one course. You said, well, that's because of the virus. No, that should make it even more. Where did that guy go? Boy, he was sure interested in trying to get me to take his course. How he did that, I don't know. But he was a severe alcoholic. No, and he finally did after a couple of weeks. He did, so I think he stopped. He had stopped because his hand stopped shaking. He got it down to about right here the whole time. I mean, he was like, I'm like, dude, the last thing you should be telling us is get you some wild turkey for Christmas. Let's go turn the A meeting, buddy. And then he chain smoked them camels, just like Dusty. He looked just like Dusty. And then he changed the room around. He didn't like the first room. There's nothing. The first room we had was in next to a whole bunch of people, other classes. Nothing wrong. We didn't need any more seats. It was the older classroom, same one I took Wilson in. And he moves us across the way to a different room that it's in Timbuktu, going putt putt with a polar bear. That type of room. Nobody's around, and I'm thinking, can we go back? Because remember, there's safety in numbers. I felt more comfortable back there. Like, just weird stuff, dude. You say, careful, Nick. You can't prove none of that. And if you say too much of that, you're just, but it all adds up. Lied to me. Where'd he go? All of a sudden, he just dropped off the planet. Decided to just all of a sudden quit teaching. Or every school didn't need him. No. Yeah. I actually liked him at first, kind of too, actually. But then when he lied, I mean, I did really. He allowed front and back, but and I literally, he actually, you know what he did? He couldn't. He said he'd never seen anything like that before. I literally had front and back with the smallest font you could put, like 3, and I did not leave one space. I mean, it took me like 3 days to make it. And he's like, "Can I take a picture of that?" And so then he leaves for about 10 minutes and he comes back. And what happens? This was on the previous test. I know I got a B on the final, on the last test. I know I did. At least, maybe an A. What happens after he takes the picture? Because remember, the reason I have the cheat sheet is because he put on the board what you need on the cheat sheet. What happens on the questions? There's like 1 or 2, and I get like a D. He takes a picture of my thing, goes upstairs, makes new questions based on what is on my cheat sheet. Even though it's just stuff like that, just a jerk. Christopher Strand, big old goon guy. Chain smokes the camels, likes the wild turkey. Yeah, I never ever. Way back, if you drank the 5.5, like Bud Ice, yeah, sometimes if you drank that for 2 or 3 days in a row, you wouldn't get like that, but you'd feel a little strange. I can't imagine having to wake up and take a drink of wild turkey just to settle my hand. Don't know what I did to that guy either, unless he was part of this. But he sure wanted to tell us about his daughter out at was it Matamidi High? He liked to talk about her though, or Mound or something out that way. And I'm like, Strand, where are you on here? Strand, where are you on this list here? Everybody seems to be doing something for an absolute reason. Like I said, those 5 guys came. They didn't bring sandwiches. Still don't know what that really is out there. Don't. Hey, I guess if as long as it doesn't go boom boom, hey, we're all right. I was wondering if Seventh Beggar came into town to say, hey, DKS sent me. We got to make sure you're going to blow this guy's gas line up. We need some locating wires on there. He says he's an Orthodox Jewish Christian, so we see him eating all that food down at them kosher markets. We need a proper burial. We need to be able to find this guy in the dirt. Just kidding, boy. I have an imagination, don't I? Man, I ought to forget moving the wire in Hollywood. I ought to write some movie scripts. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I ought to come up with some like Hallmark made for television family movies or something. What did Jesus mean when he said that some of the disciples would see the kingdom of God arrive in power? There are several possibilities. He could have been foretelling his transfiguration, resurrection, and ascension. The coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, or his second coming. Now, there's another key difference between the J-dubs that people complain about, and I'm saying, what's wrong with that? The J-dubs say, hey, we're supposed to commemorate Jesus. We're not. Why are you focusing on Christmas, a complete secular holiday that nobody is trying to get rid of? That's great, Jesus came, but the most important thing is that he rose from the dead, his ascension. Okay, that's the most important. That he died for, because if he rose from the dead, you can by deduction you can say, hey, if I can believe that, I can believe he went to the cross for my sins. I mean, it's not a far stretch, right? Yeah. So you're saying, okay. And you're like, yeah. So why they pick on the J Dubs for focusing? Because they celebrate Jesus' resurrection, the death, not his so much. And it's like they get mad at them for that. The coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, or his second coming. The transfiguration is a strong possibility because Mark immediately tells that story. In the transfiguration, Peter, James, and John saw Jesus glorified as the Son of God. And I said that to my dad, and this is why I can't get along with my father. You know what he said to me when I said, Dad, please do not speak to me about Katy Perry's honkers. He goes, oh, what are you, perfect? What do you think you're too? I'm like, no, Dad, I'm a Christian guy that those are not mine. I don't get to touch them. I don't want to think about them. They're none of my business. Why are we wasting time talking about Katy Perry's honkers? Can we talk about why those 5 guys came without sandwiches first? Or how about why my dog is like this? And don't ever ask me if I can be normal again until you go and watch that video and you admit that she did all that and all that happened and I did nothing. If you can do that, then we can have a conversation. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about, Dad, because I can't trust you if you're going to just look at me and go, can I be normal? Because we're back here again, Dad. We're back. Where are you on this list, Dad? I thought maybe I had a spot for you here with maybe you were the only thing between me and the devil and half the kingdom, but you were helping. I'm not sure what, Dad, because I don't know, it's the beer, because you say you don't drink much beer anymore, right? So it can't be that. I know you're getting a little old. You fell down the hill, getting your tarp. Took you an hour to get up. You went up, told Paul about it. And I know he's up there eating I didn't sell him any oatmeal. He's up there eating my oatmeal. And you think I'm just supposed to have small talk after what Leslie did and what she said to me? And I'm just supposed to come out to California IA where it's all butter knives and bow and arrows? And you're asking me if I can be normal after what happened out there, Daddy? I don't mean to be disrespectful. You're my dad. You're the king. You remind me. I understand you're the king, but you ain't looking at this clearly, Daddy. And no, it doesn't mean that I'm holier than thou on a high horse. I'm just saying, if you haven't figured out yet that I don't want to waste our time talking about another woman's boobs that are not. I'm not going to talk to you about any boobs. Certainly not any that aren't mine, or I don't have potentiality of ever touching, or any legal right to, Daddy. That doesn't mean I'm holier than thou. It means I'm like a basic Christian 101 guy. And I can't say this to you on the phone because you'll hang up on me. And I can't say that other stuff because you won't listen to it. Because apparently the truth hurts, but it says the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Because who the Son sets free is free indeed, Daddy. I'd like to reconcile, but you got to listen to that video. And now, and for the record, a little disclaimer here. I'm having a problem. I don't know why, but I can't get my videos to upload. They were automatically uploading, so I don't know if they're just long videos and YouTube's like, yeah, okay, thanks. You've used about 10 gazillion pounds of bandwidth, and so yeah, we're gonna upload those, but it's gonna take like the next year, and you ought to maybe start condensing those and putting those in different groups, and maybe getting maybe not putting so many. I don't know, because they're not going. And then I try to download them because I'm trying to save a copy of everything. I have most of them, but a few of them are like there's like a delay on there. What do I do with this? If there's anybody out there that's a dermatologist or a priest, here, maybe I could show you, get a better, here, look at it. It's not that bad. It's just, it's kind of patchy. I remember I had a cat named Patches. Look, is there anybody that could diagnose that? Can you see it? I need a little help. I'm pretty sure that stuff they got at the world-class dermatology place, you could probably get some stuff for about $500-600 in a tube about like this. Probably that would take care of it. Over the next month, it would soften that up, but they won't tell me what it is, and I really don't have that much money for that. But I would put it on a credit card because everything they've given me now, this new diagnosis is baloney. I don't have. What did he call it? I don't even know what he called. Oh yeah, so Ben Carson. Do you know that did that story about Ben Carson? Now, if you need some hope, Ben Carson could barely read. His mom was illiterate. You notice how you think I talk slow. He's a neurosurgeon, and he better never. I don't need a lobotomy, but I'm just saying it'll give you hope. His parents, his mom would make him do book reports, and he tells this story, and she would pretend that she knew how to read, and she would pretend like she was grading it just to get him in the, feel like he was doing something and doing well. And he didn't even find out till he was like graduated from college that his mom didn't even know how to read. And he would struggle. But his mom kept pushing him and motivating him and making him think that, hey, I'm doing pretty well. And eventually became a brain surgeon, I guess, apparently. Hey, there's still hope. There's always hope. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? And so, yeah, that's an interesting one but I was thinking of Herman Cain, because Herman Cain was another. There's only a couple black people that were on in 4 years, right? Was there one or two? I saw one black lady when he came out, and I'm saying, Big Don, don't wonder why people are wondering why you say there was good people on both sides, the ones carrying the swastikas, even if your grandchildren are being raised Orthodox Jew. Well, you come out with nothing but polar bears for a photo op after they're burnt. You bring, I don't know. Some of this stuff, it just seemed, I don't know. But yeah, But you get older and you're like, well, yeah, but if I don't see Big Don very quickly admit and say, hey, I'm not running, and if we have any chance, if the Republican Party hasn't, we're going to put at least a woman, probably. You're going to need a woman because Kamala's next. After, probably even before, then, after 4. For sure. And she'll probably have Never Again right behind her. So, and after Never Again, we're in trouble. Okay. Kamala, Never Again. They're holding off them Beto O'Rourke's a little bit. But once we get into Beto O'Rourke, it's all through. Okay, so I got a little consulting business here on the side. I'm saying this ain't rocket science, Don. You got 69% of the Republican Party saying they'll support you. No, you're saying, hey, look, we can't win. Junior Mints and Guilfoyle are too busy touching each other, and they're not married. But think about Eric. That mentality, if the Republican Party's to even survive, I don't think they want it to. They ought to rebrand it, rename it something else. Like I said, you got to come up with a person of color, female, to even think about running against Kamala. And again, it's like if you think in 4 years you made more friends than you lost. You don't really think that. There's no way. You don't go to the Wharton School of Finance and think that there's got to be something going on with Joshua Van's black gloves and his creepy seeds talk. Okay, I'm just saying. So, if you're real and you're serious and you're not crazy, show the world and go out to hold a press conference today and say, look, I'm not running. We cannot win. I cannot win, but I want you guys to support this person here because they have a chance to win. That's rational. If you continue on and you ever wonder why people stop supporting you or think you're absolutely insane, that's why. Just saying. I'm not going to say another word about it because that's the period, end of story. I'm done. There's no way that you can win. Okay? All right. I voted for you. Go down. Well, it's weird. This here. When that showed up, I told you, a month after the election. I'm pretty sure that Billy Graham, they wanted this out. They sent this out plenty. So somebody was holding this. And you wonder why Mike Lindell was wondering about this? You wonder why he was talking about that? That's why. This didn't come in my mail until about a month after the election. They were holding it somewhere. I report, you decide. Fair and balanced. Okay? The Swamp Watch. If you want to have a swamp watch, be looking out for Dusty. Leroy, Bruce Leroy Strowman likes swamps too. Remember, he lived right next to one in Bram. When he would take the windows off and while I was sleeping on the building, and then Rich was there, thank God, settled him down. Yeah. Hey, you want to have a swamp watch? I'm pretty sure if you're gonna have a swamp watch, you better look out for Bruce Leroy Strowman too, because he shows up at those too. So if you're ever wondering about a swamp, yeah, we can talk about that too. No problem. We can talk about. I can give you reasons for everything. Like I said, there's a couple too. That my whole life though. You know, I never bounced for meatball or what is it, meatloaf or never. You know, they didn't nickname me Dusty for my boots. That stuff that goes up your nose. Okay, so don't try to out debate me. And as far as yeah, seriously, it's true. But I'm saying, look, now if you run, now I'm thinking I'm gonna start listen. I gotta listen to my family. It don't matter. Patriot, military, and you know, if you didn't notice, I'm kind of sick of the police too, and how they just do whatever they want to me. So I'm kind of over in Never Again's camp, anyways, already. And now, oh, my grandpa Gordy, he's got a picture of Barack Obama, and like I said, if Michelle Obama shows up and says, hey, you want to take a ride? I'm like, yeah, let's. Where you want to go? Let's get out of here. Yeah, we don't have to go to Hawaii because I'm not a leper, but hey, wherever you want to go, I'm game. And whatever your husband wants me to apologize for, I will. But if you think I'm hanging out with Joshua Van in his creepy black gloves, if you keep doing that, I give up on politics. People have lost their minds. It's not reasonable. It's not rational. It's not logical. It's not possible. It's insanity. No matter how stupid I am, no matter how many swamps watches there are, it's crazy. And besides, I'm an old guy now, and I'd like to have health care someday too, probably. And like I said, I think they're out. If you go to if there's guys flying around with $1,000 champagne bottles with goats and supermodels, covering it up. Uh, And if you guys can't talk, I mean, I'm just done with politics. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it makes a difference. And I'm just gonna go neutral. I'm gonna have to go J-Dub on them. I'm gonna just take the neutral approach because people have lost their mind. And it has become a scary, unpredictable world that I don't know. My dad said to me he would take up arms to defend Trump or Trump's, and I'm thinking, you're on nothing but butter knives and bow and arrows out there, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about, but hey, and you're 75 years old. I got a desk for you here, though, if you want to be my dad. Anybody can be a father. You want to come visit me and have a real conversation? Because I'm sober. I'm not on drugs. I don't sell hot dogs, and I do love my dad, my father. But it takes a real man to be a dad. Don't waste my time talking about hunkers. And let's get down to business. Otherwise, that's why I haven't called, because I don't think that there's no point until you understand where I'm coming from. And it doesn't. I'm not. What? Why? Because a guy wouldn't want to talk about some other woman that's married, any woman for that matter. I don't care if you're a Christian or not. How's that being a professional, Dad? It's just my policy. Sometimes I break it too, but not so blatantly, like pointlessly talking about Katie. Like, what do I? I'm never gonna. I don't know her at all. I don't. Is that who Katie is? Maybe that's what you're talking about. Kate, undercover Katie on Paltalk is actually Katy Perry. Who knows? She's in the Secret Service too. I don't know. That's her cover. She went to the School of Blind. Has all that influence. Daddy was a pastor. Hey, if she wants to have a Bible study, I'll do that. But if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of in a pinch here, Daddy. I don't know. I can't afford to be talking about women. Not only do I not want to, I can't be talking about women's honkers. I'm not retarded like that. So, I see if a guy's working, if a guy don't have, look, and this is the other thing, folks. How come if you got $1,000 champagne bottles, and when you get caught, it's the good old boy network, you get your parachute money, and a guy that doesn't have a drug problem, drinking problem, no cigarette butts around the Trump rally, can't forget having a girlfriend, family, clothes, food, anything. In every metro, basically any market in the United States, in the Union, a person, a male, female, whatever gender you are, however you identify, cannot afford a one-bedroom apartment. Forget your insurance, your lights, your phone, just rent. And this is what Never Again is talking about. And I'm saying, yeah, keep talking, girl. Let's keep talking. This is what we need to talk about. At minimum wage, at 70 hours a week, you still cannot afford to pay for it. And you say, well, it's just a starter job. Baloney. You ought to be, if over in France they can go home for 3 hours, that's a little extreme. I'd limit that to about an hour and a half if I was making the rules. Maybe an hour. You want to go home? Go home for an hour. you gone for 3 hours? I mean, we got to find somebody else to come back to work. But if you don't have a drug problem, you don't smoke cigarettes, you're not sitting around smoking pot. But that's normal now. You're not sitting around playing video games and you're willing to work. Shouldn't? It's pretty common sense. Shouldn't you be able to afford to live? And then maybe have a little left over to take your girlfriend to the state park or something, take a walk. I don't know. Can't afford much after that. I would think that there should be a system where if people are willing to do that, they had to be able to survive. And so if you ever wonder why I'm starting to say, hey, let me hear you, keep talking there. Let me hear some ideas here. Let's talk about this. Sure. Yeah. Well, you're saying, well, and you say, well, these are so simple. Well, then why aren't they solved then? The solution would be pretty easy. It really would. You know, I used to mostly be sold on the recreation, outdoor, low gas, low taxes, smaller government. I don't want government in my business thinking they need to run my life all the time, come in and whenever they knock, I got to talk to them. Like, I don't want to talk to you just because you got a badge and a gun. Leave me alone. Just stay out of my life. I'm not bothering anybody. You're only here to harm me or bother me. Nobody's a threat. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm just sitting here talking, reading my Bible. Leave me alone. Unless you're out, you got some satanic ulterior motive. Nobody's in harm. And as you can see, they've been lying and making stuff up about me the whole time. So, and so why a guy would go to emergency room for something that he could have to go to just a simple, maybe he broke his ankle, and it's this obscene profit margin that Rush Limbaugh used to talk about. It bankrupts him and puts his family under forever, while millionaires they just they went to school and got in the good old boys network and they're riding around with goats on an airplane. And you wonder why I'm starting to listen to Nancy a little bit and saying, hey, okay, yeah, okay, I'm not taking this all hook, line, and sinker. And yeah, this is still my country too, and I would like to reconcile with all the brothers and sisters and all the Native Americans and all the blacks and African Americans and Asians and everybody. Well, we got to do something other than just get mad at each other and keep doing the same thing. Yeah. But how they think they're going to divide East Jerusalem, and that's God is not going to cause World War III. They must be really. I mean, if that happens, folks, if you see a piece, did they already do it? They might have already done it in silence, quiet. They've already done that. I'd get your Baba out and start praying, because I'm guessing the nuclear bombs. And you know what they say? It's most likely going to be an accident because of hacking and this AI. It's gonna detect a false launch, and each countries are gonna have like a few minutes to decide whether or not they're gonna just get blown up, or should we just blow the whole thing up, go kamikaze, go Samson on them. And that's likely what they're saying, that those murals at the Denver airport is what it's going to look like. And most of us, like me, we're just going to fry up like bacon. So you better be ready to meet Jesus anytime. The coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. Or his second coming. The transfiguration is a strong possibility because Mark, immediately tells that story. Oh, see, I started thinking about my dad because dads are dads. You're the child. You came forth. They're like, be quiet, little twerp. And I'm like, no, Dad, listen to what happened. And you stop that. I can't talk to you unless you can listen to that and go, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I will start saying to Leslie, can you be normal? And everybody else. And I'm sorry for saying that to you, son. You got that desk ready? I want to come visit you for a week or two and stay with my son. And we can talk and play cards. We could put a puzzle together. We could go on the internet. We could read the Bible together. We could do all kinds of stuff. I got stuff to clean. We can go. I asked you, I need you to look over this house and give me, because my dad was a builder with Steve Kessler's, and which is ironic because the same office. There you go. It's all connected. See, the guy. Remember Gary Holmberg, the world champion watercross in Grantsburg, where for 10 years, where I was friends with for a while, and let him drive my truck around. When I let nobody. That's all I had. I didn't like how he was. I drive Miss Daisy. Everybody thinks that they look in my car. They're like, who is this 90-year-old woman driving? I'm like, since when did it become illegal to drive 5 miles under the speed limit? So I don't have to deal with these guys. And I don't want to pay a ticket. And everybody in Forest Lake's like, and they're flying by me. Hey, and I'm like, dude, this is Forest Lake, bro. Settle down. When was it illegal to drive the speed limit in the right lane? I mean, people, it's crazy. It's true. It's all true. And you're like, dang. And I'm like, Dad, like, look over this. So Gary Home, where we used to go pick up the checks from the builder company, that was the same company Kessler and y'all would deal with, the same guys or the same group down the line. But I don't know, Dad. Yeah, I mean, if you love me, I'd love to see you and settle down and talk to me for real about real stuff. I got a desk back here with a chair right back there. You can set up. I got a fax machine you can set up if you need to. I need you to look over this house and give me a good estimate, between the window, because the window's my responsibility, and fixing this water problem. And the water damage on the 4 inches of the drywall pretty much through the whole place, and figure out kind of do what to do. Is it worth it to fix it? And what can we do and what should we do? I got nobody else to really fully give, it'd take me forever to figure that out. If you could help come visit me for a while, take a good look and see what's going on, because I could use your help. What good am I going to do out there? And then maybe eventually I can come visit you. But I think you should come here. And then you can visit Grandpa. And then I don't have to deal with Leslie, give her a break from you. That's more reasonable and logical. There's no crises here. Minnesota's great. There's for all seasons, and fishing's really good up that way. I mean, you got to, in terms of like end of the world, this parts of Minnesota and North Dakota, if you look at a map in the science class you might have taken, this in terms of where water, like if you're down in the south, there's no water. You're not growing anything. If we have some serious problems and those polar bears quit driving them trucks around, yeah, you're not going to be growing hardly nothing. And you're not going to have much water to drink either. But Minnesota is really fertile yet, and the ground is moist. And it's one of probably the safest place if we're going to go back to Neanderthal times. Actually, right around here at about 1,000-mile rate, it's probably about one of the best places you could ever be in the world, according to the science. The Transfiguration is a strong possibility because Mark immediately tells that story. In the Transfiguration, Peter, James, and John saw Jesus glorified as the Son of God. We don't know why Jesus singled out Peter, James, and John for this special revelation of his glory and purity. Perhaps they were the ones most ready to understand and accept this great truth. These 3 disciples were the inner circle of the group of 12. They were among the first to hear Jesus call. They headed the gospel. They headed the gospel list of disciples, and they were present at certain healings where others were excluded. Jesus took the disciples to either Mount Hermon or Mount Tabor. A mountain was often associated with closeness to God and readiness to receive his words. God had appeared to both Moses and Elijah on mountains. The Transfiguration revealed Christ's divine nature. God's voice exalted Jesus above Moses and Elijah as the long-awaited Messiah with full divinity authority. Moses represented the law and Elijah the prophets. Their appearance showed Jesus as the fulfillment of both the Old Testament law and the prophetic promises. Jesus was not a reincarnation of Elijah or Moses. He was not merely one of the prophets. As God's only son, he far surpasses them in authority and power. Many voices try to tell us how to live and how to know God personally. Yeah, again, Daddy, I'm not telling nobody how to live. I'm just asking, like, you ought to pick up by now that I'm not the kind of guy that even I have my problems, but where I can save myself some sin by talking about another gal's hunkers that ain't mine. Hey, that's pretty easy one. It's kind of like not saying a cuss word usually. Like I might get really mad and hurt my mama because she won't call in 5 years. But hey, it's pretty simple not to talk about another gal's hunkers. And I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm mostly just reading the Bible and offering some commentary. I can think of a lot worse things that I did in life. and I'm offering some theories about heaven and hell and what the demons and God and this, it says we fight a spiritual battle of principalities in high places. I'm wondering this invisible war the Bible talks about. Where is it? What's going on? I'm pretty sure hell's got to be somewhere in the middle of the core of the earth. It's pretty hot down there. They got volcanoes. Sounds like a place where there's no water. That guy, he's like, just let me put a drip of water on my tongue, please. And oh, you've been there. That cotton mouth. Can you imagine? Oh, you want to know what hell's going to be like, folks? Smoke a bunch of that there, some of the real best stuff you can get. And then you don't get to drink any water for like 3 days. Yep. And you're like, hey, Nick, will you get me a glass of water? And I'm like, don't got one. And you're like, I got to live like this for the rest of my life. That's what hell's going to be like. Gnashing of teeth, burning of sulfur, where the worm dieth not. Hey, it shouldn't be illegal. I'm not holding a captive audience. This is not like going down to the DMV, and although that guy down at the college did to us. If a Christian goes down to the DMV and starts preaching outside, he'll get arrested for, they call it captive audience. Those people have a reasonable right to be in public, and you're forcing them to listen to you. You can go to any channel you want. I'm exercising my First Amendment, and you know what else? Some of these are helpful, many are not. We must first listen to the Holy Bible and then evaluate all other authorities in light of God's revelation. Jesus told Peter, James, and John not to speak about what they had seen because they would not fully understand it until Jesus had risen from the dead. Then they would realize that only through dying could Jesus show his power over death and his authority to be king of all. The disciples would not be powerful witnesses for God until they had grasped this truth. It was natural for the disciples to be confused about Jesus' death and resurrection because they could not see into the future. We, on the other hand, have God's revealed word, the Bible, to give us the full meaning of Jesus' death and resurrection. We have no excuse for our unbelief. It says the wages of sin is death. Romans 8, it says there's no remission of sin for those that reject Jesus when knowing the truth. There's only one like that, but it's there. And at my point, if you're wondering why I don't want to talk about no honkers, yeah, because I'm scared of going to hell, Daddy. After all I've done in life and all the crap I've pulled, and then all this, and here come them guys with this, and you wondering why I don't want to talk about honkers, Daddy? No, you're not. When Jesus said that Elijah had already come, he was speaking of John the Baptist, who had fulfilled the role prophesied for Elijah. It was difficult for the disciples to grasp the idea that their Messiah would have to suffer. The Jews who studied the Old Testament prophecies expected the Messiah to be a great king like David, who would overthrow the enemy. Hey, you ever heard of Bathsheba? Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure she was about to take a restraining order out on King David. Oh, wait, he was king. He was like that cop that stops He's okay for the cops because he's one of them to shut down the interstate for Leslie. See why she's going out to California with old Marky-Mark. But here, see, and God even forgave King David. And what did he? That was after he wanted Bathsheba so bad, he sent her father or her husband to the front line to be murdered. And then, if you ever wonder why you shouldn't be dividing East Jerusalem, it's right there. Even God said, "Hey, these are my people. I'll decide who I forgive and who I don't. I wouldn't mess with the Jews too much, Hey, so I'll stay away from your synagogue now." Thanks for the warning. Maybe I'll try reform or conservative or something next time. And I hear you don't have to wait like 8 years to ask a gal out on a date. And they got some of the prettiest gals of all time. That dark hair. Ooh. Hey, Rome, the Jews who studied the Old Testament prophecies expected the Messiah to be a great king like David, who would overthrow the enemy, Rome. Their vision was limited to their own time and experience. They did not understand that the values of God's eternal kingdom were different from the values of the world. They wanted relief from their present problems, but deliverance from sin is far more important than deliverance from physical suffering or political oppression. Our understanding and appreciation of Jesus must go beyond what he can do for us here and now. That's right. And would somebody get on the horn and let Dutch know that Camper 7 doesn't believe that prayers go up and blessings come down. Okay. I'm pretty sure seek ye the kingdom of God first and all these things and righteousness shall be added. I'm pretty sure I got there. Remember, I was a priest for about 18 months. Why couldn't the disciples cast out the evil spirit? We read that they cast out demons while on their mission to the villages. Perhaps they had special authority only for that trip. Now see that even I'm like special authority for this trip here. They would, yeah, we're getting a little subjective here. Or perhaps their faith was faltering. Mark tells this story to show that the battle with Satan is a difficult, ongoing struggle. There you go, Satan. You know them guys that got that synagogue over in, the one that the Bible talks about that even accuses the Jews of being? The one that they almost whipped me in? That one. That one in Fridley? That one. The guys that did that dog, I'm pretty sure, got to be a Satanist. Maybe Kenny the Trucker. Maybe Preacher Billy Bob 777, Ghosty, I don't know. Somebody. We're in the ballpark. Anybody see any Texas plates around lately? I did. Parked right next to that Warlock truck. Looked like a guy that maybe played for the Houston Astros, actually. Satan. Is it okay to say Satan? We're fighting a spiritual battle here, right? This ain't about mental illness. Mark tells and you better stay away from this, kids, because if you got any of that, you're mentally ill. If you're getting into this with that, you're done. You got a chance. If you can do this, then you can maybe talk about this. But otherwise, you're done. Mark tells this story to show that the battle with Satan is a difficult, ongoing struggle. Victory over sin and temptation comes through faith in Jesus Christ, not through our own efforts. Jesus' words do not mean that we can automatically obtain anything we want if we just think positively. Oh, yeah. No. That's not what Dutch says. Dutch says it's prosperity gospel. It's Benny Hinn. Oh, yeah. You just pray. All you got to do is serve God, not for 30 years off and on. You just got to be like Camper. Just ask real quick and boom. You say, hey, have the kingdom. All right? Jesus meant that anything is possible if we believe, because nothing is too difficult for God. We cannot have everything we pray for as if by magic. But with faith, we can have everything we need to serve him. And I'm saying, hey, forget about the Mormon and their magic underwear. They don't even drink coffee. They can't be that bad. Hey, if you got somebody going, hey, not only do we not drink alcohol, we're like afraid to drink that coffee because we might go to hell. Yeah, you might be all right in a foxhole with them. I'm just saying, probably pretty safe with those guys. We cannot have everything we pray for as if by magic, but with faith. Amen. I'm about out of faith. I got a smidgen of hope. That's it, and it's getting tough. I mean, I got my faith in Jesus Christ died from, but as far as believe, I mean, hey, anybody know how to get rid of that yet? We can have everything we need to serve Him. The attitude of trust and confidence that the Bible calls belief or faith is not something we can obtain without help. Faith is a gift from God. I'd say so. I'd say against all odds. I'd say Bad Boy probably said, "Hey, if old Camper ain't down there selling Oscar Mayer wieners with old Strand looking for him, by say, hey, June 20th or so, I'll turn myself into an Enoch." Yeah, I'm sure he took that bet. Faith is a gift from God. No matter how much faith we have, we never reach the point of being self-sufficient. Faith is not stored away like money in the bank. Growing in faith is a constant process of daily renewing our trust in Jesus. And that's right, because, willpower took me 18 months. I swear. After they brought in them guys, I said, okay, you got my attention. I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to chew. I'm not going to chat. I'm not even going to mention homosexuality. I am not thinking about no honkers ever again. I am not going to do anything. I'm going to show up to Nystrom's and DBT I'm early. I'm there. I'm talking. Hey, I'm not too good for nothing here. They're about to put you on the bone arrows and butter knives, buddy. You better be nice. And I'm like, I'm really getting sick of getting tested like this by these people. I've had enough of Shannon's. You've done enough testing on me now. Just let me be. And it's gotta be. They hate it. I can only think they can hate Jesus, because I ain't much different than anybody else. Oh, don't forget that one. Remember, I'm in the market for anybody know where I get this at a discount? And you're like, the disciples would often face difficult situations that could be resolved only through prayer. Prayer is the key that unlocks faith in our life. Effective prayer needs both the attitude of complete dependence and the action of asking. Prayer demonstrates our reliance on God as we humbly invite Him to fill us with faith and power. Did you meet somebody have you met somebody you couldn't believe how humble they were? And they seem to have a peace that passes all understanding. Yeah, I've met somebody like that before. Have you ever? No, I've never felt like that. But I've never had that humble feeling quite. Like right now, I'm just kind of agitated because of all this. But I'm pretty sure I met somebody that had the peace that passes all understanding, and they were really humble. Kind of like a dog that just calms you down, even after taking some licks for you, I guess. Reliance on God, as we humbly invite Him to fill us with faith and power. There is no substitute for prayer, especially in circumstances that seem impossible. Oh God, you want to talk about impossible? Mission impossible. Hey, I gotta get going. Hey, I understand nobody's even watching, but you know what? It helps solidify my belief. It's kind of like a lawyer. You don't obviously. All I can tell is you pay a lawyer to basically tell you stories. They'll just talk to you about previous case law, precedent law, and you're like, "Can we talk about my case?" And by the way, next time I need you to let me know when that's butter knives and bow and arrows, buddy, or we're done. Just like Big Don, I'm done. If you're running for president still, it's like a lawyer. I think they tell them stories because it helps them understand the law. It's like anything. You, if you by me talking to this here, well, my grandkids could listen to it. Maybe one person in the whole world might hear one little minute, but it helps me solidify my beliefs and understand what I think about the Bible. So it's not all in vain, and I'm not out bothering nobody. As long as nobody comes to the window and points a gun in at me, we're fine. Or comes through the roof or through the walls, or they leave me alone. I'm leaving everybody. I'll leave. I don't have any problems with them. I gotta go do some. I gotta get some work done though now. So this has been this. It was. Thanks for listening. If anybody got any, I hope you got something. I know it's elementary, and maybe Mr. Pace is gonna go. We having a dilemma again. Well, maybe we ought to talk about some of the simple basic stuff. Go back. Let's get back to the basics. And then once we do that, we establish some groundwork here. Then we can let the preacher women take back over, because But yeah. So there you go. Yeah, I'm serious. Like I'm telling you, like if Big Don, that's the only possible way. Big Don needs to hold a news conference, and he needs to say, look, I'm not running for president. We need to be realistic, and let's put our resources behind a female minority. Y'all start thinking about it. Otherwise, I'm never. I'm not. I'm going to join the Jehovah's Witness. The Witness Protection Program. I mean, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. And I'm not gonna ever talk about politics because it's nothing but a jogging pony show, and I'm done. So pretty sure that won't happen. You say, well, you want Christ to come back, don't you? Yeah, but I like fishing too, and half the kingdom. I mean, hey, I want to go to heaven too, but hey, this ain't too bad. If you could get half the kingdom on the horn and go fishing once in a while, eat some food and hang out with her, read the Bible, ain't too bad. I'll do that for a while. That's cool. Can I do that for a while? Right. So but if they divide East Jerusalem, it's more likely Jesus will come back sooner on that white horse, flaming with every eye to see and every knee shall bow. Yeah, but I mean, as long as they don't shoot me, we're still the greatest country on God's green earth. And if they do shoot me, then the republic is over, and we're no different than Mexico and Tijuana and. If they got to my dog, though, you got me a little nervous. You got my attention, that's for sure, no question. Uh, but I can't compromise if you're not happy with where as respectful as I can be. Now, I do have once I settle down, I think I can be more humble, like that person I met. Boy, the calmness and the humbleness of this person that I met before. And I'm not talking about any time specific. I'm just saying I have met a person in the world, and I'm thinking that I like that person's personality. They are calm. They are focused. They are humble. And I want to be more like that person because they seem calm. Either they're really good at faking it or they're doing something. Okay? But I gotta go. I got plenty of time. It's 11. Yeah, I need a good couple hours of work. But I'm really at the point, folks, where I just cannot aimlessly. If it ain't gonna matter in 10,000 years, don't ask me to do it or talk about it. I'm too old. Time is short. I only got so much energy. Only thing that matters is this eternal salvation and getting a family. If it ain't getting me closer to that, then I'm not about it. Not interested in gambling, drinking, nothing, nothing. If it's not part of kingdom minded, half the kingdom, getting my wife, getting the job that takes care of, so we don't have to send them up to the school to read them books because this is still America and I ought to be able to do that. Then don't talk to me about it, please. I'm just saying I won't bother you. Just don't force it on me. Go on. Okay. Get up there. Go on. Nope. Stay. Stay. Oh, come on. I'm not even near your food. Oh, and I got dishes to do. So anyways, y'all take care. I'll be back for the afternoon Bible reading.